I am headed to what might be Scotland's most mysterious location. It's on the A70 road. This is where what's widely known as an alien abduction of two people allegedly occurred. Two men claimed they were driving down this very road when a UFO resembling a two-tier flying saucer hovered right above them. This spot is still believed to attract extraterrestrial activity. I am not shitting you. In fact, the UK Ministry of Defence investigated the case. The incident happened in 1992, and when the documents were declassified in 2012, it became known that they took it extremely seriously, conducted a full investigation, and issued an official report. The two-page A70 incident report sent shockwaves through the country. Imagine that. It was handled by the MOD's dedicated UFO division, no less. Do you want to be the first to know all about our new adventures and my personal reports? Hit subscribe, click the bell, and give us a like. I know, you keep hearing it all the time, but the truth is, this genuinely motivates us to create even more awesome content for you. This road is seriously creepy at night. Driving to this alleged abduction site is an experience in itself. I'm driving through pitch-dark forest and keep seeing spooky stuff like a dead deer, and some people literally pop out of the bushes in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Pretty unsettling, all that.
As the car was underneath this object, it emitted a heavy, silver, shimmering curtain of heavy, crystallised light that descended. They couldn't see the dashboard of the car, they couldn't see each other. Where are we? Are we dead?
It happened right here, on a dark, moonlit night just like tonight. I'm looking at the actual witness statements right now. Both men claimed their car was stopped. Then, three small creatures opened the doors. They stripped Colin completely naked, put him in a chair, and took him to a medical room where they performed an examination. Harry remembers being led into a circular room, also stripped naked and placed on a table. Both men returned from that encounter with mysterious scars that had not been there before.
The scars were photographed. Colin had a CAT scan, as did Gary. Gary had a lumbar puncture as well.
Surprisingly, I'm not alone at the abduction site tonight. Many of these people claim to have had their own encounters with UFOs. This location is part of what could be called the Scottish Paranormal Triangle, and it does have a name of its own. Locals just keep reporting sightings of extraterrestrial objects here.
It's clearly one of Scotland's biggest UFO events, more so because it was a claimed abduction.
People come here in large groups from all over Scotland. These gatherings are called night watches. They bring powerful binoculars, portable telescopes, night vision cameras, and all sorts of gear to search the skies for answers. Who were those visitors? Why did they abduct those men? Where are the abductors now? And most importantly, will they return? Can you see the UFO? No? But it's been here. In Scotland, there's a village called Bonnybridge, and it's one of the world's top UFO hotspots because almost every other resident here claims to have seen something extraterrestrial. Look, just look who's meeting me here. So adorable.
What a lovely statue. Hello, Mr. Malcolm. Very nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate. Wow.
This is my office.
No, brilliant.
As you can see, UFOs are real. It's the government that doesn't exist.
Wow, what an amount of books. It's a library.
I never imagined there were so many books about paranormal phenomena in the world. Monsters, ghosts, creatures, UFOs, whatnot. Some books are about Russia for some reason. By the way, Malcolm Robinson doesn't just read all these books, he's an active contributor to this collection. Just look at this stack. These are the books Malcolm has written about UFOs and paranormal phenomena. Just look how many they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books on all things paranormal. Can you believe it? And take a look at his office. I think you'll appreciate it. I think this might be the most dedicated UFO enthusiast I've ever seen in my life. Look, here are photos of him being interviewed on Sky News. Other pictures from other TV appearances, and everywhere, these little alien figurines. It's absolutely adorable. I mean, just look at all the figurines on every surface. There's Nessie in various interpretations, there are aliens of all shapes and sizes. What kind do you prefer? The classic green or gray humanoids with 4 fingers and almond-shaped eyes in Hollywood films? Or these ones, look, straight out of The Fifth Element, like the bad guys who hunted Corbin Dallas? But this piece here takes the prize, I think. The man had a detailed diorama made for him of that very A70 road abduction incident I mentioned at the start. Isn't it something? Can you imagine the level of dedication? You know, he had to commission a designer to make a sketch, then to have some workshop make all the things, the asphalt road, the field, the tiny cars, and the flying saucer itself, and even the floodlight underneath. And it moved like this, and they got lifted up. Have you ever had any life experience you wanted to capture so much that you would literally put it on your shelf? Malcolm's been a UFO enthusiast since 1979. That's longer than many of us have been around.
Yeah, I think it probably was the Robert Taylor UFO incident in Deckham Woods near Livingston in West Lothian, central Scotland in '79. That was the case that took me off the sceptical fence, because once I investigated that case, wow. So I've travelled all over United Kingdom, spending my own money all over to talk to people. So it started to become from a hobby to a serious hobby, and now that I'm retired, it's just wonderful because I can devote all my hours to researching this subject. Yeah.
Malcolm does take it seriously and properly studies everything. He's not just collecting cool artifacts and spooky stories, he has a methodology. When he hears about someone's alien encounter, he gathers all the details like a detective. He interviews witnesses, asks questions about the person's mental state to see whether they're likely to tell the truth or not. He files requests with meteorologists about weather conditions during sightings to see whether there were weather balloons up at that hour, or a storm with lightnings, or anything unusual at all. He's even submitted official inquiries to the UK Ministry of Defence. Have you ever written formal letters to the military? Well, Malcolm has, and even went all the way to the Prime Minister, and get this, actually got a response.
Dear Mr. Robinson, I am writing on behalf of the Prime Minister to thank you for your letter of the 14th of May. Mr. Cameron is most grateful for the time and trouble you have taken to get in touch. I have been asked to forward your letter to the Minister of Defence so that they too are aware of your views. But this folder contains letters that I've written personally to the Minister of Defence.
Do they in any way confirm?
What they say is there's nothing flying in the air at that time. But generally what they say as a rule from the Minister of Defence in London is that as these objects do not constitute a threat to the defence of the United Kingdom, the British government will not seek to open up any governmental inquiries. And that's annoying because people have seen these things so close.
Malcolm says the aliens can appear in many kinds of ways. Sometimes people see colorful orbs, red, blue, green, white. Other times they spot classic flying saucers. Occasionally he claims people see triangular objects in the sky. Sometimes witnesses manage to capture them on camera. Here's an actual photo of a UFO in his hands.
And then he managed to take this photograph. And you can clearly see an object in the sky. You can see the tree line at the bottom. He was very, very upset and annoyed at this photograph. And I says to him, why are you upset? He says, Malcolm, the top part of this object telescoped, descended into the main object and flipped on its side and screamed away in the sky.
So that you know how serious this all is, there's even an entire British UFO Research Association with 1,000 members. They investigate hundreds of sightings every single year. Most get eventually dismissed, admittedly. The association holds regular meetings and conferences where members share their encounters with the paranormal. They set up support groups and search for explanations to bizarre phenomena.
So basically, we are trying to understand what's going on here. So some of them are not friendly. Some of them are doing experimentation on Gary and Colin. We heard that the other night. They were subjected to some form of clinical experimentation, which they didn't want. So they were so angry, so upset. And yet, other people claim that these guys are friendly.
What do you think they can do? What are they capable of?
Well, some people say that these abductions are possibly for some form of genetic manipulation, repopulate a dying planet. It sounds Hollywood, it sounds crazy, but what if that's true?
It does sound pretty convincing now, I must say.
In other words, we are the aliens. Planet Earth is but a zoo. They put us here. Forget Darwin and the origin of the species and crawling out the swamps. Maybe we were genetically bred and put on this planet, and what they're doing now is maybe just altering us, altering our DNA.
I'll admit, I initially approached this story with some sort of cautious irony, because here's a guy who has spent nearly 50 years of his life dedicated to this. 50 years! Have any of us dedicated 50 years to anything? That alone impressed me a lot. When I started filming, I looked at all this more or less as someone's innocent and quite adorable whimsy. But now, I'm completely awestruck by this kind of devotion, and the more we talk, the more I find myself wondering. Indeed, who said we're alone in this universe? Scientifically speaking, we've already confirmed the existence of planets similar to Earth in other systems, with nearly identical atmospheres. Whether there's life there remains beyond our current ability to investigate, of course. Though, Malcolm believes the truth is closer to home. He is convinced aliens don't come from distant planets, but rather live right here on Earth, somewhere deep in the ocean. As many as 20 years ago, research showed that Scotland had the highest UFO sighting frequency worldwide. They used to record up to 300 cases annually here. Statistically, that means 1 in 17,000 Scots would have an alien encounter. You think that's insignificant? It's actually staggering, because the odds are dramatically lower anywhere else. In France, for example, only 1 in 87,000 people would report a sighting, compared to Scotland's 1 in 17,000.
These sightings are still ongoing. They're still happening on a daily basis. Certainly not to the volume of 1992 to 1999. This is when anybody talks about UFOs in Scotland, the town of Bonnybridge always comes up.
Malcolm has brought us to that same spot where people claim to have seen aliens. This area is called the Falkirk Triangle. One corner of this triangle is the village of Bonnybridge with its 6,000 residents, and it is believed to be a portal to another dimension. See how seriously they take all things UFO here. They've even put up a traffic sign near Bonnybridge saying UFO landing site. And someone has dumped an awful lot of gravel on the path there. Good luck getting through. I guess not everyone's thrilled about alien visitors. At first glance, this is a Scottish village like any other. Nothing extraordinary. No military bases nearby, no plants or factories. No aliens roaming the streets. Just a family out for a walk, a guy waiting at the bus stop bored, a girl walking with her bike, a man out jogging. Good for him, staying fit. Nobody looks frightened or crazy. Perfectly normal life. And here's your standard issue village pub.
No? Is it the story that passes by, like this cruising around, yeah?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the UFO capital of the world, is it? Yes.
Yeah, Stephen, okay, nice to local legend, or what's it like, or it's more something serious?
Some people say they have seen them.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Me, no.
Any of your friends?
No.
No?
I see on the internet, I see people talk. Don't go with them. Stay here, okay?
Oh, yeah. All right, thank you.
So you see, everyone here knows this place is essentially the aliens' #1 go-to place on Earth, yet they discuss it as casually as if, I don't know, Bonnybridge were famous for its pickles or choir singing. This is where I also met Emma. She's practically on a first-name basis with the aliens.
I guide people through a quantum hypnosis to get in contact with
So interesting. How do you do this?
quantum hypnosis. I take people to reach their higher state of consciousness, and so they're going to a different dimension. I went into a different dimension, and I was told that I am a Lemurian light leader, and I'm here to raise the vibration of the planet. And I turned into a mermaid, and they took me to show me that I was a mermaid.
Emma also says she can communicate with the aliens.
And some
Can you
people,
show a little bit of this one?
With Emma and Malcolm, we come to the UFO landing site, as the sign tells us. I guess it's a local joke, but the sign is really here. There's a whole lot of people here from all over Scotland, and they all have made it to the other side of the gravel mound. I'm still wondering, is it there to keep the UFOs out, or to keep people like us from getting in?
Where we're standing just now, allegedly a UFO came down and landed here.
Exactly here.
Just there, yeah, in 2011, and it allegedly made the news.
I really don't know how to comment on all this, but it's just a big, pretty opening in a forest. But then I start wondering, why do trees grow everywhere except here? What's so special about this spot? Has the soil been exposed to some radiation or poison? Why does nothing ever grow here? Although the truth is it looks, it's just a clear spot. And then imagine, a beam of light shines on you, and you get sort of transported with it. You know what I love most about this? That this shows you what kind of things people have on their mind. The folks can actually afford to obsess over stuff like this. Going places, spending money on gear, burning gas, wasting time, properly researching things. Isn't that awesome? Instead of doom scrolling 24/7 and feeling worried about what's going on like many of us do, you can be out here researching flying saucers and aliens. And I say, researching extraterrestrial life is way more fascinating than that crap that keeps our minds busy every day. I find this whole thing completely awesome. Check this out. They've got some proper equipment set up. That's a tripod, I think. We've arrived at Harry and Colin's alleged abduction site. The sky is clear, visibility is perfect, and about 20 people are already here. It's the most eclectic crowd imaginable. As always in Britain, on absolutely any occasion, there's always that one guy wearing shorts. Here we've got two, while the rest of us are freezing our butts off in puffer jackets. Two ladies that look both confused and excited at the same time are trying to keep up with the group. This dude just popped out for a drink of, I don't know, tea, protein shake, maybe scotch? Whatever they do, they are all sky watchers. They observe and look out for signs of anything paranormal. Everyone is eager to share their own encounters with something mysterious.
I had an orange orb experience. It was huge. I went out, out my back garden to I was dealing with the animals, the dogs, and this orange orb was in the far away.
Mark Anderson started to see and sense paranormal phenomena after visiting this very spot by Harperig Reservoir.
8 years ago, my first skywatch ever was here at Harperig. We were there with about 10 people, a lot less people than were here tonight. A few days later, I'll start again. The lady who was organising it, Alison Dunlop, both her and I felt this energy coming from those hills. A few nights later, I started getting unusual dreams. And it was almost like them saying, we're coming back into your life. People believe seem to be unusual occurrences, and they seem to happen all the time.
Peter was raised a Catholic and has a degree in chemistry. And yes, he is part of this group too.
And I've got a degree in health and fitness, but I'm actually working in social care at the moment. But I'm winding down my working life so I can actually pursue things like this.
You as a scientist, yeah, so you're waiting for some...
So I'm a believer, but personally myself, I've not experienced it.
Malcolm has been collecting accounts from everyone who's seen any kind of paranormal things. This is the core mission of the society he has found. Here he is showing Harry's drawings, Harry being the man abducted on the A70 in 1992, and recounting details of that fateful night that Harry was only able to recall under hypnosis.
When they had this like a pendulum device, an orange crystallised pendulum device that was moving up and down Gary's body, he says, Malcolm, I felt like there was a hand inside my stomach pulling my entrails round a bit. It was horrible. And he also remembers like a can-shaped device coming up from the floor of this craft, his head, and a lever moved up with 2 red LED lights and it circulated around his head.
What's fascinating is that both guys' stories have never changed. Normally, when people fabricate tales, the details usually don't add up, because whenever imagination runs wild, details get confused easily. But these two men's accounts remained perfectly consistent, suggesting they, at the very least, genuinely believe it themselves. They even passed lie detector tests live on TV. The BBC aired it, and the results were conclusive. Their testimony was verified as true in a way that these people truly believe what they're saying, at least. Malcolm says these two men had subsequent UFO encounters witnessed by their wives and children too.
Can I ask a question? Where are these two guys now?
The two gentlemen involved with this A70 case are still living in Scotland. They've got responsible jobs, they're educated men, and they are well known in the UFO world, but they tend to stay away from the subject now.
I don't even know how to react to this. On the one hand, it's absolute madness, right? Impossible to believe. Yet, there has been a serious investigation, decades of research, books have been written, and so many people are still coming to study the site. Makes you wonder, is it them, or is it me who's, you know, someone tell me. Every skywatcher comes prepared. This woman assembles her tripod with surgical precision. It's clearly not her first rodeo. That guy's launching a night vision drone. Not sure what he expects to see up there. Mostly just me as it hovers overhead. No aliens in sight. Meanwhile, this dude's chilling in his car, and it looks like he's binge-watching Netflix, but he's actually capturing the stars, and these are the most stunning photos I've ever seen. Jaw-droppingly beautiful.
Taking 70 photos so far, and it just mixes it together. I bought it in March, but it's been very cloudy. I was always into photography, and I tried doing astrophotography with the stuff that I had, and one of my friends was always trying to get me to buy a telescope. And he showed me that.
Okay.
Nah.
Do you believe in this one?
Nah, I don't believe in paranormal stuff.
This group looks like they're coming home after a good night out in a pub, strolling leisurely, laughing, gossiping about their galactic neighbors, naturally. One's even carrying a mug. Not a thermos, mind you, but a proper ceramic mug. Perfect time for tea, isn't it? Suddenly, they all stop and look at the sky in complete silence. And there, there are the stars, and something so magical that keeps drawing them back to the spot again and again where they can stargaze and smile knowingly, like they're watching some galactical show or fireworks that are there just for them.
I got started because I have had, over the years, I have dreams that come to fruition, and I didn't know who to speak to or where to go or what what to do about it. And when I seen that orb all those years ago, it always was in the back of my mind. What was that? Till I found Malcolm's groups, and I heard people talk.
There, I don't know what that is, but it's nothing paranormal.
It's a moon.
It's the moon. Okay, edit that bit out, please.
Malcolm believes otherworldly beings have always been and always will be among us. Most of us just don't perceive them. Only those truly open to seeing them can.
What's there?
Nothing.
Remember that publication that said Scotland had the most UFO sightings? Whether it's a coincidence or not, the report was commissioned by Visit Scotland Tourism Campaign. I can't say anything about aliens, but stories of UFOs, Nessie, and the boy who lived with magical powers definitely draw crowds. Thousands visit every year, some hoping to prove these phenomena exist, others to debunk them. This honestly blows my mind. Imagine having this kind of retirement. Now that's living. Isn't it just awesome when you can hop in your car and just go and spend a night with an incredible view like this, surrounded by people sharing your passion? I say, if this isn't the golden years done right, I don't know what is.